started and remind you at this point in the video, we've already washed and dried the car properly back in episode 1. Now for episode 2, we're chatting with Kevin Brown and talking about his 3-step method for what he does, what he thinks about when he encounters black finicky paint. Now, most of us, we use our favorite pad, our favorite polish, our favorite machine. We do the car, looks great, we're happy. But what happens when we do that and it doesn't work out? We feel like it's hard paint, it's soft paint, there's too much residue, we can't finish it out. What do? We turn to Kevin, and Kevin seems to figure it out. My purpose with this video is to kind of explore that and say, like, what is it that you do? Like, explain this whole process. And I really think kind of understanding this nugget of information from him is so powerful as we go forward. So, with all that being said, I hope you enjoy episode number 2. All right, Kevin, for detailers around the world, polishing out black paint is a complete nightmare, as we know. You think about it differently, and I love chatting with you about this because there's a process that you go through. Can you explain that?
Well, it's not more difficult. It's just more noticeable what you're doing. What your input is and your output is more noticeable.
Right.
So I try to keep it simple by breaking things down into 3 separate categories. The first being, we have to make sure we're contamination free. And that includes your environment, your pads, the paint, of course, clayed and wiped down. The second thing is we focus on the defects. We're not going to worry about haziness or doing too vast of an area. Focus on removing the defects, eliminate the defects. And then finally, we refine the finish to give it that final pop and clarity we're all looking for.
Okay, when working on any paint, especially black finicky paint, you must have a contaminant-free surface. Now, I know most of you watching this are saying, yeah, of course, it's got to be clean. That's why we just washed it. But what you may not realize is that even 5 or 6 minutes of just being outside after the wash, as we pulled it indoors, dust and tiny bird droppings actually accumulated within seconds of completing the wash. So be aware that even though you may have just washed the car, the surface may not be 100% contaminant free when the time comes for your buffing and polishing. It's a subtlety you can't overlook. The quickest way to remove dust is to use clean compressed air to blow it away, but be careful not to blow the dust on other parts of the car and chase your tail in circles. Most people, however, choose to wipe the light dust with a spray detailer. Although this too is quick and easy, it tends to be the source of most issues for many detailers without them realizing the problem. Some spray wax and spray sealants, commonly called spray detailers, contain polymers and various protectants that create a barrier layer on top of the clear coat, which blocks or interferes with the compound and pad touching the clear coat when buffing. So be conscious to avoid unintentionally adding contamination yourself when trying to clean the dust off prior to buffing. Lastly, if your paint feels rough to the touch but it's clean, then you may have something